Jacob right now, his life, think how broken he is. He's been promised the promised land. Is he living in the promised land right now? No, he's 500 miles away. He's been promised a great offspring and inheritance. Does he have children? No, he does not. He's been promised, ultimately, that he received the blessing and birthright, but he has no shred of evidence that those are his right now. He's off in exile, away from the promised land, no children, no wife, and all he can think and all he can see is he's lost the affection of everyone. His dad doesn't care, his brother wants him dead, and now his own mother is gone. He will probably never see his mother again in this life, and he's just stuck, off, isolated. So imagine this desperate man, this man with all this craving and longing in him, places all of the brokenness in his life, all the desperation in his life for meaning and joy and purpose and significance, he puts all of it on one human being named Rachel. Now, that may sound like a romantic thing. He served 7 years, and they were just a few days to him. And everyone goes, oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice. This is not as sweet as it sounds. What's going on here is he has now put Rachel in the position of God in his life. Remember how the Bible says, work as unto the Lord in all things that you do? Colossians 3. In all that you do, all your jobs, all your work, do it as unto the Lord, not unto men. Well, here, Jacob has put Rachel in the place of God, and she's doing all things as unto Rachel, as unto men. I mean, he's doing his work day in, day out, for everything is directed towards his ultimate desire, his goal, his idol, his God, which is Rachel. And he is looking to Rachel. He's looking to this romantic relationship, this marriage with Rachel. He is looking to that to fix what's wrong with him. And he really thinks deep down that if I could just have Rachel, if I could just be in this marital relationship with Rachel, everything wrong with me would no longer be there, and all that's broken would be fixed. And so I got to ask you this. This particular temptation may not be yours at all right now, but you've got something in your life that is your Rachel, okay? So you got to do some heart examination. I'm going to give you a few questions. I call these X-ray questions. Stole this from a guy named David Powlison, a Christian counselor. I just want to ask a couple questions to try to uncover who is your Rachel? What is your Rachel in your life? Number one, this is a big question. What is your greatest fear or your greatest nightmare about your life? Now, when I say nightmare, I'm not talking about like scorpions and snakes and a guy breaking into the house. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say nightmare, like I'm thinking when you think about your life as a whole, what is your great fear about what may go wrong in your future and in your life? What is your greatest nightmare, your greatest fear of what may go wrong in the future in your life? It may be losing something that you currently have. Could be a physical object. It could be a human being, a person, a family member, a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, I don't know, a job, money, security, fame, recognition. What is the thing right now that's your greatest fear to lose? The thought of losing it would make you say, I don't even want to go on living anymore. Like, I don't even know why I would still be breathing on earth if I couldn't get and achieve this thing, keep this thing, obtain this thing. What is your Rachel? By the way, just pause and skip ahead to chapter 30, verse 1, and you're going to see Rachel also had an idol. We're going to come back, but look at 30, verse 1. Rachel's idol, you'll see right here. When Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, she envied her sister, Leah, who was able to have children, and she said to Jacob, now listen to these over-the-top words, give me children, or I shall what? Die. That's the sign of an idol. It's when you say, if I can't have blank, I might as well be dead. I mean, I don't even know why I'm here. I can't even define my life without that object, without that thing, without that relationship, without that person. What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest nightmare? What is that thing? For Rachel, it was the inability to have children. That was her greatest nightmare. Her worth was tied up in children and lineage and legacy and having offspring. And she goes, if I can't have kids, I might as well die. Number two, what are you most worried about? What is it that gives you the most anxiety? What is it that's most likely to keep you up until 3 a.m. tossing and turning in your bed because you can't stop obsessing over this issue? Something that might go wrong, or something that is going wrong, or something that could go wrong. What is it that gives you the greatest anxiety? Number three, what is it that could change your mood in a second if you get it or lose it? What can change your mood in a second? Because think about it. If you're having a good day, what are those pressure points, those spots in your life where if something goes the wrong way, you just fly off the handle all of a sudden. That's the sign of an idol. This is the way idols work. They work a lot like weeds, okay? So I was picking weeds this week. It was fun. 90 whatever degrees. Really fun. Okay. I'm back. So if you're picking weeds, if you just pull the weeds by the top, what's the problem? They're going to grow back because you didn't get the roots. Idols are very much like this. Let me try to explain this. So in a simple, like people who don't have a great grasp of the gospel and idolatry will usually teach Sunday school lessons pretty poorly. So for instance, say you're teaching Sunday school one day and you tell your sixth grade kids, you say, any of you ever lied to your parents? And they're like, okay, maybe. And they go, okay, you need to stop lying because the 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not lie. And it's wrong to lie. God is dishonored when you lie. You might hurt yourself and your own reputation if you lie. Lying is like a habit, and the more you do it, the more you want to do it. And the more you lie, you have to lie about what you lied about so that your lies don't get caught. Does that make sense? So that whole idea, if you tell kids that, they may go off and kind of grit their teeth and try to be honest for a couple of weeks, and then after 2 weeks, it kind of fades off. You know what I'm talking about? That's a moralistic way of fighting sin. It's a moralistic. It's only dealing with what's sticking up out of the ground, like the top of the weed, and you're just trying to pull the top of the weed out, but you're not dealing with what? The roots. Now, here's the real question. We all know it's wrong to lie. I mean, we know that. But why do we bend the truth in certain situations and not in others? Okay? So I'll just tell you, my temptation, I don't tend to just flat out bold-faced lie to people, but I have a tendency to bend the truth, sometimes without even thinking about doing it. I just do it sometimes without even thinking when it comes to inconveniencing me or getting in the way of my comfort. It is so easy for me to just slightly bend the truth, and I don't even think of it as lying, but I think it is lying. I'm deceiving the person on the phone or the person I'm talking to. But before I even know what I've done, I've said something that's not really true, because for me, one of my idols is comfort and convenience. I love comfort and convenience. That's the root system of the idol. And the fruit that the roots produce is perhaps bending the truth on the phone about some inconvenient thing you don't want to have to do. Are you following what I'm saying here, okay? So if you simply say, grit your teeth, don't do the wrong thing, you're just trimming the weeds. And that's not going to help because ultimately the root will grow another weed right back. And so that's not the goal. The goal is to go under the surface and find the root and uproot it and replace it with another God. Okay? So in this situation, Jacob's God was romantic attraction, romantic love, romantic relationship. He really believed it would fix what was wrong with him, and his greatest nightmare was not being able to be in the arms one day of Rachel. That was his greatest fear.